Robin, it's so lovely to see you here in Davos. It's such a great mix of leaders here. We start 2026, and I want to ask you, what are the biggest challenges that you see for businesses, and what are the biggest opportunities that you see?
Well, I think on the challenges front, there's still some very unpredictable conflicts going on around the world that serve as a kind of drag on certainty, drag on the ability for companies to plan for the long term. The Ukraine war, I'm worried is going to continue for most of 26 in some shape or form. That inevitably is going to make the relationship between Europe and China difficult. And we've seen some signs that European governments are maybe thinking maybe we do need to have a better relationship with China. So if you're trying to plan for the long term as a company, how do I change my supply chains? How much can I trust that the US-China relationship won't go wrong? Can I back Chinese investment into Europe? You don't have an answer.
So there's a lot of the issues that we are carrying forward almost from 2025 into 2026.
Absolutely.
Let's look at the other side of it. What are the top opportunities that you see?
Well, I think the American economy, at least on the surface, and if you're invested in the right parts of it, is going gangbusters on the back of this massive infrastructure build out of the infrastructure portion of the AI revolution. Is not just about chips, it's about construction. It's about skilled workers. It's about network building. It's about energy. It's grids. I mean, America is on a buying splurge for the AI revolution that could really give rocket boosters to parts of the US economy. So I'd say the US economy is one of my bright spots, at least for the next 12 months.
Yes.
I can't guess if there's going to be an AI bubble or not. And we've seen quite a bit of investment going into Europe as a relatively rule of law part of the world. So you get kind of Wild West growth in America, but you might be getting more predictable growth in Europe. I've been struck that we ended last year and started this year with a number of trade agreements being signed. And so the EU-Mercosur deal, which has been signed, the EU-India deal, which I think is likely to be signed quite soon. Everyone's thinking, how can we build up the infrastructure of potential growth? And then my last point, 2026 could be the year of India. I mean, here's an economy that's growing maybe at 7%, where the infrastructure investment that's been made seems to be paying off. The Modi government that is trying to make an effort to show that growth can trickle down. It really focused on simplifying market rules and opening up the market. I just feel that there's a
momentum.
Exactly.
Sure, we have a lot of challenger companies out of India that are growing really well and have global ambitions. And so I think you're right. There is a momentum that's building here that we are seeing here in Davos as well, actually. So I'm optimistic about that. Robin, one question, and we serve business leaders most of the time and we work with CEOs. One of the questions that they're asking is around this mix of trade, investment, and economic statecraft. This combination is playing out in almost every major economy in the world, and it's playing out on the global stage. So if for a business leader, if you were to say one thing to keep in mind for 2026, what would it be?
My one thing to keep in mind is that all governments are involved in industrial policy. Because it means governments are going to be interfering, but it's also good because it means that they may support you in particular mergers or acquisitions or investments you want to make. I think you have an opportunity here for companies for the moment to try to steer this emphasis on industrial policy because of this competitive, more state-led form of market we're in, for companies to try and turn it to their advantage. In the long term, there could be cost. I think in the near term, there's opportunity.
And if I was to add to that, Robin, I'd say I often advise CEOs, you have to build a geopolitical muscle. Right. We don't know what's going to come to you. So you need structural capabilities to be able to factor geopolitics into every function. And that doesn't mean just a global affairs team. It means a team that can build that capability end to end. So that would be a no risk and no fail move that you can do.
I strongly agree with you on it for a particular reason. I've sensed that many companies have felt they know geopolitics because they read the papers, and they are often very knowledgeable people. They're traveling the world. They're meeting government leaders often at an extremely high level. But as we've seen in this last year, and we're seeing already at the beginning of 2026, really unexpected things can happen. It's almost impossible to plan. And so therefore, as you said, having structures, processes, I dare say, structures for advice, that can help you keep an eye on it because the surprise is always around the corner. So yeah, I'm very much with you on that.
Great. Well, Robin, thank you for speaking with me. This was a great discussion. Thank you.
Thanks, Aparna. Pleasure.